Okay, well, welcome everybody to the webinar on how to be fearless and build your dream practice. 3 steps to create a reliable income with realistic work-life balance. So let's get going. So tonight I am going to show you how to build a practice that you love and shift out of that mindset of confusion, fear, and uncertainty of private practice to feel the safety and realistic work-life balance from a sustainable practice. So the reason I really want to emphasize realistic is we see this all the time on social media that, oh, this grandiose practice, but I really want you to walk away today knowing what it really is like to have a practice. There's so many great things on social media, and I was just talking to another practice owner actually the other day, and we were talking about how we really want to emphasize reality. And make sure you stay around to the very end of today's awesome webinar, because there's an opportunity for one of you guys to walk away with some super cool gifts. And we're actually going to be giving away a free course to how to build your dream practice. And everybody on tonight's webinar is actually going to get a really cool handout that I haven't ever given away ever. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys tonight. So, like I was mentioning before, make sure that you have downloaded the worksheet. And if you haven't, don't worry, it's in the chat box. We're going to put it in there right now. And if you haven't filled out page 1, it's okay if you didn't. Don't worry, you won't fail today's webinar. All good, all rock star. But make sure that you do go back and fill it out later on. So really looking at, what do you want your dream practice to really, really look like, and thinking about all of that, what it entail. What do you want it to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And what are your fears about your practice as well? Those are things to kind of think about. So don't worry if you are not there, but if you are in the right place, I want you to double check this with yourself. You have thought about a practice, but you might be worried about how you will support yourself financially. You also are in the right place tonight if you wonder how you will get and keep clients so you can have a steady income. And then you're in the right place if you are motivated to follow your dreams and look for that push to start and the support you need so that you can fly into your private practice. Well, if I haven't met you already, my name is Adrien Paczosa. I'm a registered dietitian and certified eating disorder dietitian supervisor. I own a practice here in Austin, Texas called I Love Well Nutrition, and kind of a subset of that is called the Fearless Practitioners, where I get to help you guys be magical unicorns. And so if you haven't ever connected with me, please, please, please come hang out with me, say hi, send me a message. And if you haven't already, there is tons of fun, great free stuff on the podcast. So make sure that you subscribe and listen. We've had some really great things come out lately, fabulous interviews and more to come. So before we jump into all the magical things you will learn tonight, make sure your phones are turned off or on airplane mode, and that you have 0 distractions around you. So airplane mode, let me just double check that mine is in airplane mode. We're fabulous. And I want us all to take a deep breath and imagine what it would feel like if you said yes to having that private practice of your dreams that felt safe, that felt secure, that felt like you didn't have to worry, and you got to be the practitioner that you wanted to be. Just like how it was in a corporate job. You got to come in, help, and serve clients, and you didn't have to worry about things. That's that feeling. So feel about what it feels like in your body, and that's where we want to start. So that's also the #1 goal for tonight's class, is how to realistically build a sustainable practice so you can have the flexibility and freedom where you get to call the shots of who you work with, how you work with them, by the way that we will learn today through taking action daily, networking effectively, and lastly, how to get and stay motivated every single day in your practice so that you can build that dream practice. Okay, you guys got your handouts? So step number 1, we are going to cover how to get more done every single day. So in this section, we are going to chat about all the things that really help you day to day. Yet before we can get into the nitty gritty and day to day, we got to first talk about the pitfalls. Pitfalls are seriously what tie us up and get us away from taking action daily. And holy bananas, pitfalls are for real. These are the things that take us far away from all the daily stuff that we need to do. And we all get emails. We all get them all the time. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, it feels like I have to answer them like lickety split. Like in the next 24 hours, I got to send out that email. And anytime I see it in my inbox, I just like, I need to get it done. And we all have to see clients, and we have different time limits on sessions, all of those types of things. But what about what we're doing in our practice daily? The things that are really needing to be done. So in your workbook, I want you to kind of start to make some notes right now of all the things that pull you away from the things of working on your practice, not in your practice, but on it. So that would be things that are pulling you away from building your practice. Let me give you some examples. So for me, it's that dreaded inbox. I swear I look at that inbox, I don't know, 1,012 times per day, just because it is kind of my to-do list, and it makes my brain go in every other different direction as opposed to keeping me focused when I need to stay focused. And the other one of my personal pitfalls is social media. I love, like absolutely love social media, but then also I know that I will get sucked down that rabbit hole of talking in different groups or seeing what my best friend's little kids are doing, or, oh my gosh, any French bulldog I will just follow for hours and hours. So take some time right now and write out a couple of pitfalls that distract you from working on your practice. So step number 1, at the very top in your worksheet, if you don't know it by now, you will hear it all the time from me, and it is taking action daily. Because get used to it, because I say it all the time. This truly is one of the mantras that I had to adopt in my practice and in life. I can seriously remember when I was married and I'd come home and I was exhausted and I didn't want to do anything, but I needed to just keep moving, just keep moving, just keep moving, just do one next thing, just do one next thing. And I kind of transferred that into my practice of just, even when I'm exhausted and it's 10 o'clock at night and I know I just need to do one more thing, and it will just help to keep the next day just a little bit easier. So what to me this actually means of taking action every day is it means working like a boss. What is the stuff that I need to be doing on a regular basis outside of seeing clients? Like, we all see clients. You all are amazing practitioners that are seeing clients, helping people, changing lives. But what is the stuff that I didn't learn in dietetic school that's going to keep my practice going to the next step? Not saying that we might know those things. Don't worry if you don't. It's a-okay. We definitely will. I talk about all of that in the courses and with my coaching clients, but it's one of those things. What is that next email that you could have sent? That follow-up note that would be really helpful. So every single day, I really encourage you guys to ask yourself, how are you working on your practice? So the other idea in taking action every day that has helped me so much is sticking to a schedule. And truth be told, I still am not the greatest at this. And I wish somebody had held my feet to the fire in the very beginning, because when I first started, I had Swiss cheese schedule. where I had clients every which direction and it wasn't always the greatest. And by really getting kind of honest with my schedule of like, okay, these are the days I want to see clients. These are the days I want to work on my practice. And what that helped me was to stay focused and to not feel scatterbrained. So you might have seen on social media, I have Wednesday marketing days, all of that. So I'm actually going to share with you guys my calendar, and I took out patient names for HIPAA and all of that. And I love colors, so it's all the fabulousness. And you can see when I work on Fearless Practitioner, I have coaching clients, when I've got Boss Club stuff, when I have coaching calls. You get to see my personal stuff, or when I get a haircut, all that great stuff. But then you can see when I'm seeing patients and when I'm actually out in marketing. And the others is when I'm actually doing stuff personally. And I put this in here for a reason, because I want you to also schedule me time. And in the reality of work, when you're first starting out, and as you go through your life, you will have to work evenings. You will have to work weekends. You might have to cover a new dietitian that you're hiring, or new therapist that you're hiring, or new chiropractor that you're hiring. You might have to work outside of normal hours. And so making sure you have you time and finding what that really looks like. It is not this 4-hour work week. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be magical unicorns? So finding what that reality is for you. So for me, I know that I needed to have some me time. It's not this magical, 4-hour work week. I make sure that I get up and have a good morning. And I love research. So there's tons of research that for successful entrepreneurs, the ones that get up early are going to get more things done. But for me, it allows me to have that mental brain space where I feel focused, I feel grounded, and I am able to take on some of the hard things in life. So I encourage you to find reality you time. And for all the therapists and people that work in mental health field, we know that that's important, but I also want you to have that reality standpoint of, okay, it might not be this 4-hour work week. It might just be, I get to find 8 minutes of meditation. I'm so excited. I'm up to 8 minutes. Not saying I'm totally focused on that. The other part of me time that I am crazy redonkulously passionate about is scheduling conferences and professional development. So pulling out your calendar and picking 2 to 3 conferences that you will attend is so redonkulously important for your professional development on so many levels. You will interact with different professionals across the country. And if you're at a trade show, you will network with different products across the country. And you'll find mentors and connect and reach out. It is so important. And the best thing is you get to learn and fill up your noodle with great stuff. So the biggest takeaway from step number 1 is taking action every day. How are you working on your practice, not just seeing clients? So getting really strict with your schedule, finding time realistically for you, and building up that awesome education. Well, let's hop in to step number 2. And step number 2 in building your sustainable practice is laying the groundwork. And holy bananas, you guys, I am super hot for this right now. Like, this is one of the things that just like get me all excited and get me super jazzed, because I asked myself as I was putting this idea together of a sustainable practice, what has really helped me be sustainable? And it's networking. It is seriously getting to know everybody in my area. And there's 2 ways of doing it. So in person and online. Online, from all the different types of social media, newsletters, blogging, commenting on blog posts, sharing, all of those things. That's not what we're going to talk about today. I definitely think that's important. That is not my area of expertise. I will definitely give you the fabulous blog mastery connections that you ever want from all of my support from Kathy. But I definitely want to talk about the in-person networking. And even if you are going to have a virtual practice, I really feel that this is, for me, and the way that I really embody things is getting to know your local network. So it could be from local networking groups. It doesn't have to be in your professional niche. It could be from chambers. It could be calling up other professionals outside of your area and getting to know them, meeting with local offices. And before we jump into the hows and the nitty-gritties, I got to talk about organization because it's my favorite. Oh my God, give me a label maker and a fizzy water and I might be the happiest person in the whole entire world. So as you're going through and getting to know all of these people, and it could be online and in person, I want you to think about how are you going to collect this data? Because this is what's going to set you aside and make or break you. So how are you going to collect their names, their addresses, their emails, when you guys met, what did you guys talk about? What are they working on? What's important to them? How can you serve them? And for me, what has been tried and true for so long is a nifty rockstar Excel spreadsheet. I know it's super high tech. There's so many different programs out there, from CRMs, which is a customer relation management tool. Those get very expensive and can be cumbersome and all of that. I like easy because my life is sometimes not easy. So keeping it simple and an Excel spreadsheet of who you talk to and their information and how are you going to support them. We'll come back to the organization in a couple of slides, but I want to put that in your noodle so that you can start to marinate on this of how you're going to keep it organized. So if you haven't started meeting local offices, what you waiting for? If you need an invitation, today is your invitation. I invite all of you to go and meet local offices. And yes, it is scary if you have never done it before. And yes, you will probably sit in your car for a little bit, or maybe that was just my experiences, and it still is after years and years, and I feel like a nuisance and all of those things. All of that imposter syndrome goes through my head all of the time, every single Wednesday. And I don't die, I don't catch on fire, it's not the worst thing, and it makes a huge difference. And there's great ways to do this. You can call up a office and schedule 10 to 15 minutes with them. I get this in my office all the time from different providers, different organizations that want to come and just chat, because I would like to get to know where I can send my clients. So one of the key things when you're scheduling these, to make a note, as you're going there, be very clear of your purpose. How will you help and support their practice? Please, please, please do not go in asking for a referral, asking for these things, because it can sometimes not feel genuine. Walk in being authentic of who you are, why you're there, and how can you really support them. To me, that definitely is more alignment of that practitioner that you came to be. So also build those fabulous relationships. Get to know these people as humans. So what is their things that they're struggling with? What are some of the things that their clients are really having a hard time that you can solve for them, or at least be a great resource? So I always go in thinking like, I'm not gonna fix anybody's relationship with food or give the maybe physician amazing tips in that one moment, but I just want to be a great resource. If I can direct them to other practitioners in the area, I would love to be able to do that. I'd love to connect them. The other thing to think about is we refer to others that we know, like, and trust. So showing up as who you are and what you stand for is the most powerful thing ever. So encourage you to think about how can I support you? And then also, don't forget to tell them how awesome you are, how awesome they are, and of course, how awesome you are, but show appreciation. Once you have a couple of people that are sending you referrals and kind of helping you out, building up your clientele, don't forget to reach out and tell them thank you. The power of a thank you note is redonkulous. So when was the last time you had a handwritten note in the mail? I can seriously remember my last one was from one of my dear friends, and she sends postcards all the time. And like, I remember this, and it's so exciting to get a handwritten letter. And think of how easy it is for a handwritten thank you card to be added into your daily marketing practices. This is a solid base practice that we should all be doing every single day. Every time you get a new client or something, or even if you're just thinking about somebody, of just like, oh, I was just thinking about you and just thought you were awesome. And as we're thinking about note cards to write and all of that and to send off, let's talk about print materials. I have a lot of thoughts on print materials, and I want to caution you to really think through the purpose of print materials. So the things to think through as you're possibly going to go and drop some money on some print materials is, first and foremost, when you get anything in the mail or somebody drops off stuff, what do you do with that print material? And I might be the worst person to ask because I usually throw it away. And that's money that maybe somebody else has spent that I'm throwing away. So I've been trying really hard to like maybe save it if it's something I could hand to a client. The second thing to think about of a print material is, what's the purpose of this information that I'm giving? Can that provider or other clinician get that information off of your website? And if they can, why the heck are you putting it on paper and spending money for it? So make sure it is different. It doesn't have to be a complete 180 different, but make sure it is different enough and catchy enough that it will do something. And that's the third thing to think about. How can this magical unicorn piece of paper cause a referral? And I wanted to give you guys this example of one of my coaching clients who's a therapist. And she would go and make these little prescription pads and talk to any physicians that was seeing people for anxiety and depression. And so the physician would write out prescription to call so-and-so and would hand it to the patient. It wasn't 100% every time that it was handed that the call would go in, but it was a higher percentage than a random piece of paper. So the magic of print material, and if you're going to make an investment of it, think through, how is this piece of paper or print material going to cause a referral? And really thinking outside the box. So also, when laying a great base for a solid, sustainable practice, we need to think outside the box. There's a lot of things that have been done before, but how can you connect with clients in a different level, from people, products? Hosting an open house is wonderful. Even if you've been in practice for a while, maybe it's just an appreciation of providers that you work with. Lots of gyms do this, of a member appreciation. So can I appreciate the people that are in my area? Hosting a community workshop, volunteering for charities as your practice. And that's why I left a couple of the personal things. I'll go and volunteer for different things as my practice and reach out to the community as my practice. Maybe you offer a free info session to the community, giving local lectures, volunteering for different things in your area. So the true secret to effective networking is connection, consistency, and follow-up. All too often, people are doing the connection and the consistency, but truly the magic is in the follow-up. And with your tracking system, that's where you're going to make the difference. Setting it up to make sure you are tracking people of when are they going to come back in. When are you going to follow them up? When are you going to reach out to them again? And making it authentic and consistent. I could talk about in-person networking a lot. You can tell it just gets my buzz going. Okay, you guys ready for number 3? Okay, I know we're going through a lot. So step number 3. So I wanted to share with you guys kind of a personal experience. And so when I feel bogged down, trapped, and super lonely and overwhelmed with everything, and this happened, oh gosh, a few times in my practice, when the sparkly, shiny, magical unicorn of a practice and being the boss was wearing off, and the reality of everything started to like fall, I went in searching for something. I just needed to fix this, and I needed a jolt that would kind of spark that dream again, spark that excitement. And I really didn't realize this at the time, but this happens all the time. Anytime I would go through a growing phase or expansion, I would fall into this overwhelmed place and I'd get bogged down. And this was a sign to me, and it keeps being a sign to me, that I need to stop, take a breath, and look outside for a new perspective, a new insight, before I can even think about making a change. So step number 3 in your workbook is get and stay motivated for you to move forward. When this first happened, I went in searching of anything, friends, connection. I felt freaking alone, and I was about to lose every marble, and I needed help, like absolute help. So who would understand that I felt like this? I mean, I hope you guys definitely don't get to that point, but I want to be honest and real that it might get to that. I felt that I just needed to have a change, and the simple enough task of asking for help freaking changed my life. From the idea of going from falling down to actually feeling support. And this was one of the biggest investments I have ever made in myself. And it was worth every single penny. So what actually happened is I joined a mastermind kind of accountability coach group. And ever since that first year after that breath of an investment, I saw significant growth in my practice, in my personal self, and I was able to really have clarity of what I wanted to do and how I could be a better service to the community. So I had the support and guidance to make those leaps. I was able to push and take some chances. I was able to believe in myself, and I was able to feel that I had that support when I need it. So what my group did for me was huge. And I know you guys might have heard me talk about this a couple of times on social media or even in the podcast, is I got a big dose of accountability of showing up. And so what that really looked like was insight and goals and also desires of what that looks like for myself and business, being able to show up with what I was good at, my strengths and my weaknesses, and also what is actually working and what is not working. Also, the group helped me to see what I kind of sucked at. And this was awesome because it forced me to ask for help even more. And I get this question a lot of, gosh, Adrien, you do so much. You do these podcasts and you see clients and you are starting to do coaching clients. Like, how do you do it? And I have help. I ask for help. And that was one of the scariest things ever to me because I didn't think it was okay to ask for help. And so by having that space of checking in with other practice owners or other companies that I was working with, just asking for help was so scary, but yet so rewarding. And it allows me to actually live and serve my clients in so many other ways. The community helps me to discover and set the goals that are in alignment with what I hope to do. So The greatest part of all is connecting to a bigger community than just what I was doing, which was talking to myself most of the time. So I didn't feel alone anymore. We all go through the same thing. We all have growth and we all have struggles, and that is not good, bad, right, wrong. It just is. We all have insights and experiences to share with each other. I talk to tons of other practitioners all the time, and even in different industries, and we all have the same struggles and insights. And loneliness, excuse me, loneliness is a huge killer to any private practice. So loneliness can affect your practice by keeping you pigeonholed and doing the same thing, keeping you from growing. It stifles growth. Loneliness keeps you in the same place and also keeps you working in the same way with clients. So if you're thinking, why is my clients not making change? Think about how your connection is with your community. Being a part of a community shifts your mind from growth and connection to expansion. So I have a bonus step for you guys that I'm so excited to share. And as I was putting this together, I thought about the number one strategy that helped me build sustainable growth. You guys ready? So the biggest growth happened when I was able to track and predict everything. So I started to track everything, which came from my accountability and coaching group. And I just had to share this with you guys because it's so freaking awesome. So the number one strategy that opened my eyes and helped me build a sustainable practice was trackable and predictable. And that allowed safety and security that I sought out in the very beginning of my practice. And all I wish is somebody that would have told me in the beginning, if you can measure it, you can manage it. So tracking my numbers opened my eyes and helped me build a sustainable practice where I felt safe and secure. And you might be thinking, well, what should I track? And this is so dependent on where you are in your practice. And it might be honing in on your marketing. It might be looking at your numbers. It might be looking at your KPIs, which is key performance indicators. So how you're measuring growth and success in the practice. It might be setting goals, and are you actually following through on those goals? And where did those goals come from? And why is that your goal? It might be, who knows what it is, seeing more clients, getting deeper into your specialty. So and I have to share this really great story with you guys. One of my most recent coaching clients was shocked that she had the most growth that she's ever had in her practice in 5 years since we started working together. And this coaching client talked about how during our sessions, she was forced to look at her practice and evaluate really what was working and what was not. And she said that with support and accountability, she was able to grow and not feel stressed. Doesn't that feel awesome? And I hope that for every single one of you guys. Well, let's kind of wrap up with all of this and go through the steps just a little bit quick before we get to some goodies. So number one step is take action daily. And if that's just putting one foot in front of the other, if that's time blocking, if that's taking action to realistically have some you time, whatever it is, make sure that you are taking action every day. Step number two is networking to get clients. And when you're networking, be authentic and connect consistency. Oh, can't say that word. And the magical unicorn there is following up. And the third step to get and stay motivated is community and accountability from peers. And it doesn't have to be other practitioners, or it can be. But that, it'll save your butt. I can't even tell you. And then our bonus lesson is track everything from website clicks to cancellations. Find your trends, because all companies have trends. All companies have different ways of moving. So I really want you to think about all of the things that we've talked about, help and understand that helping you build a practice of your dreams to support you long term. So in your workbook, make sure that on the last page that you spend some time and really think about the take action daily steps that you're going to do after today's workshop. So stick around for the very end, because we're going to do a drawing, because one of you fabulous, amazing people is going to win the Dream Practice course, and everybody is going to get a fabulous little surprise of one of my new awesome handouts. So you might be thinking, how do you move forward today with everything that we've been talking about? And I promise the first step is always the hardest. And today, you guys, you have a choice. You can keep doing what you've been doing and stay what you're currently doing and struggling, and it doesn't feel super great. And you might get frustrated, and you might end up back at a job, which I don't want you to do that. So if you're ready to make a change, I got something. I got a plan. So if you're ready to become fearless in your practice, then I'd like to invite you to join me in the Boss Club. The biggest benefit of being in the club is support. So the Fearless Practitioners Boss Club is officially open. It's the only group coaching and accountability program that helps practitioners overcome worries and fears and confusion by offering guidance, coaching, accountability, and ways to take action every day. And because I absolutely love and grew so much from what I learned, I have to share it with others. It was just absolutely life-changing. We all have tons of stuff going on in our life, and with weekly live accountability calls in your small groups, it helps you to stay accountable, and that is where the secret sauce is. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how magical those weekly calls are. The weekly calls are tied directly to your quarterly goals and yearly goals that we set together and stay on track, so you're not doing the silly stuff that pulls you out of your practice. And then monthly training and mastermind groups that we sit down and problem solve what's going on together. So the community alone will help you feel support and push you to take action that sometimes we don't do. And I really want you to learn and do so much in your practice. There's so much inside the Boss Club. You get over your fears of being your private practice with 3 programs. We keep track of your plans and weekly accountability and support in our private Facebook group, where there's monthly mastermind and hot seat. There's quarterly goal setting sessions and our annual VIP intensive half-day workshop. So we keep you on track with your plans. We move you forward, take action, make plans to grow, and boost your professional development through all of this. So all of these things, I know that is one of the biggest numbers I've ever put on something. And because I love y'all and I want this to actually work, and it's so important to me, for $50 a month or for a year subscription, it's only $495. And because I really, truly believe, and it's so much more than about the money, and I truly got so much out of mine, for the first month, I want it only to be $1. So just $1 for all of this to get started, because I want you to be successful. And being a part of a group changed my life so much, and it was the best thing I could ever have asked for and dreamt for, and it's one of my favorite things in the world. I truly want that for y'all. And if you go over to fearlesspractitioners.com/go and type in the coupon code $1, the first month is $1. And that is it. And I really, truly hope that that's something that you choose to invest in yourself. And if you think about it, all of your sessions that you see with a patient, hopefully are more than $1 or more than $50. So for the cost of working with a patient, which hopefully is $100, that pays for 2 months of the Boss Club, and you get so much more out of it. It's awesome. And because I love you guys so much, I do, tonight, this ends at midnight, April 18th, you get 50% off the private practice paperwork. And so just email me and I'll send you the code after you join the Boss Club. So you might be thinking, well, I'm not a magical unicorn, but we all have 24 hours in a day, even Beyonce. And if I was able to start a practice and do all this, I want you to know I didn't have a roadmap or a clue. I don't have exclusive experts or technology or resources, but I do have a proven roadmap. I do have passion, and I'm here to help and support you guys to build a sustainable practice. And I think that alone is amazing. And oh my goodness, you guys got this. You totally got this. And I want you to feel that after the first month, if it's not for you, rock star, no feelings hurt. There is a money back guarantee after the first 30 days. And I really, truly want you to be awesome and be a part of the club. So join me and some awesome practitioners across the country, and just go to fearlesspractitioners.com/go, and we will get you part of the club. So let's wrap up and make sure that you have learned everything from today's fabulous webinar. And we will also start the giveaways. So let's recap just one last time of all the action steps. So step number 1 is take action. Step number 2 is network authentically and follow up. And step number 3 is have that community accountability from peers. And the bonus lesson is track everything. So thank you for being a part of this journey. And I'm going to open it up to questions before we jump into the giveaways. And now if I could find the chat, that will be the other fun part of all of this, because that's the part I can't seem to find. So if you have any questions, definitely put them up in the Q&A. And I'm going to pause this as I go over and see if I can find any chats. And Kathy, if she, jumps on, she might be able to help me out with that.
Hi, Adrien. So
hey, Kathy.
let's do the giveaway of
okay.
the handout or the extra bonus sheet that you had. That was
okay.
on our plan. And I'm gathering the questions that are here, and I will read them out to you. Probably is the best way.
Fabulous. So one of the giveaways that Kathy's going to put in the chat box is actually the Excel spreadsheet that I use for marketing. And so I made a great kind of Excel spreadsheet that I've never given out ever before. And so I wanted to share that with you guys today. And so she's going to put a link to it. And if you aren't there, it's just fearlesspractitioners.com/handout.
Gift.
Gift. Thank you. And it will be there, and it is awesome. So please download it, please use it, and I'd love to hear how it works for you. And should we do the other big giveaway?
Yes, I'm just grabbing the number off random.org. So just
okay.
a second. You can tell them what it is, though.
Oh, okay. So the gift is, so one of you will get a free access to Building Your Dream Practice course, which is a $250 course, and it takes you from the very beginning of figuring out who your client is, setting up the back end, and marketing, all of that. So you will learn how to have a practice from start to finish Okay, drum roll. And our winner is?
Mandy Hines.
Oh, Mandy, congratulations! So we will definitely be sending you the login and all of that information. Oh, congratulations, Mandy. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, fabulous, Yahoo!
All right, and I have the questions here, Adrien.
Oh, let's do it.
So, all right, let me pull these up here. So the first one that I have is from Anne, and she wants to know, when you time block out your day, what happens when a client has to get in at that time that you set aside for marketing or some other work on your business?
Great question, Anne. So we have those clients that are just like, oh, I can only come on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock and that's your marketing time. I'm just using that as an example. Do your best to set some great boundaries of, oh, I already have an appointment at that time. Oh, I already have somebody at that time. I'm so sorry that our times aren't matching up for that one day. And see if you can find a good fit. And sticking to those boundaries. It's going to be hard in the beginning, and I get that. Do your best, because once you start to let clients come into your time block, it's hard to pull them back out, and it's hard to set those boundaries. So stay super black and white and clear in your boundaries. Great question, Anne.
All right, perfect. And we've got April here. Could use a tutorial or perhaps more info on updating NPI. One was created for me with a prior employer, but now since I'll be my own employer, how do I update? So the NPI is National Provider Identification Number. I call it like your, what is it? Oh, kind of like your Social Security number for being a clinician. So if you go to your NPI number, and I think it's, I'm going to say the website wrong. It's the CMS. So if you just Google NPI number, you can go in and change that and change it to your office address. Please change it to your office address and not your home address, because insurance will put everything as your home address. I made that mistake in the beginning, and patients will show up at your home. So please make sure, and if you don't know how they created that, you need to ask them. Making sure that it's in your name and not at theirs. Okay, perfect. And you can type in, hopefully that helped. Oh, there's more she's putting. Oh. Yes. Okay. So if you do have another follow-up to that, Anne, you can put that back in the Q&A. Juanita wanted to know if you can please clarify, for $1, does she get all of the stuff when she joins the Boss Club?
Oh my gosh, Juanita, yes, you do. So for $1, you get all of that stuff for the first month. After that first month, it's $50. And the reason I did that is I want to make sure that it is everything that is meeting your needs. And also I want to kind of break down that barrier of jumping into something that's, I know is going to change your life, because it seriously changed mine. So yeah, ask more questions if you need more explanation on that, Juanita.
Okay. And Tracy is asking, were those tracking sheets with all the color on them your actual sheets?
Oh God, no. No, mine are actually an Excel spreadsheet. So, and what I track might be different than what you track. And so inside the Boss Club, we actually do talk about what you need to be tracking. And that is where we definitely have a confidentiality agreement between everybody in your small groups of when we do talk, because we are going to be talking about some sensitive things. So there is that confidentiality and a group. So I will definitely go through what that is inside the Boss Club and all of those things. But when you are setting up what to track, it is based off of your practices and personal goals. So what I track is very different than anybody else in my accountability group. Yeah, I have a CPA in my accountability group. Her and I are tracking different things.
Okay. And the next one is from Lauren. How do the accountability groups really work? Which you kind of answered a little bit of that. And how are they different from other groups?
Great question, Lauren. Okay, so the accountability groups, that's such a great question. And I wish I could probably turn the video on because I could see my hands. Okay, So the accountability group. So we have the whole boss club, which we're going to be on Facebook and all that. And within this accountability groups, they're smaller, and there might be, maybe 4 to 5 people, max 8 people in the accountability groups. And we have set times that we call in and have what we go through on your spreadsheet. So there you'll be getting a spreadsheet that is locked just for your small group. And those calls are set every single time. And if you are 1 minute late, you are locked out of that call for the week. But we want to make sure that it's very time effective and very to the point. You set what you're going to accomplish that week, and it has to be in line with your goals. So I walk you guys through all of that kind of in the onboarding part of the Boss Club, but it is very systematized, which I love, and organized, but it also is very much tied to your things. How it's different than other accountability groups is I keep it small. I keep it very efficient and very sensitive about time, because you are investing your time, you're spending money on working with me, and I want to make sure I'm very cautious of that. And I also, you have to update your sheets, and we'll go through and talk about all of them. So that accountability is very to the T, get things done, move forward, take action. Where sometimes other accountability groups is kind of a check-in and process. And that's what our monthly Facebook groups are. We also have monthly group calls as well, where it's all of the Boss Club, and we're not going to be talking about individual numbers. We might be problem solving as a group. Make sense? Cool. I'm going to turn my thing back off since I'm sitting in my kitchen.
Okay, and then we've got a question from Sandra here. She wants to grow her virtual practice. Do I still need to have in-person networking as part of my plan?
Good question. So, I mean, there's lots of schools of thoughts out there, and there's no good, bad, right, wrong. I truly believe that you need to have a good base, because what if your people in your area want to see other people? So let me give you an example. So not every person in the Austin, Texas area wants to drive to our office. So even though we're a very small town, it's growing leaps and bounds every day, people don't want to drive through traffic. And so it really helps to have that good base. And also helps with somebody calls in and they might need another practitioner. So I also think it's really great to build up your network. So if somebody calls in wanting some, I don't know, allergy nutrition, holy bananas, I don't even know where to start, but I know all the dietitians to send them to. If somebody's needing an amazing chiropractor, awesome, I know who to send them to. So when we think about what drew you to be a practitioner, it's about serving your community. It's about serving that. So I think having a good base, building up that network locally, and then also looking at building it up virtually, which we'll definitely talk about at another time. But great question. I love it. Any other questions?
Yeah, there are 2 more that I've got here.
Okay.
So if you have time, I think we have time to do that.
Oh yeah, we got some time.
Okay. So Amy wants to know, what is the annual VIP workshop you mentioned?
Oh my gosh, Amy, it's super cool. Oh, great question. So I think, and I don't want to tell you wrong, but I think I planned it in June, and I will get you the date. We'll finalize the date soon. So it's going to be a half-day workshop, and I'm working out the details now, so I don't want to promise anything just yet, but I want it to be a half-day virtual workshop. And if you are able to come to Austin, Rockstar will definitely have like virtual and in person if that is possible. And I hope to have some guest speakers, some definitely workshopping exercises on your practice, because I hate going to lectures and workshops where you don't get things done. So we're going to take all the things that we've learned together over the year or over the time together from the Boss Club and actually put them into practice. And also, so there's going to be guest lectures, there's going to be workshops, and then there's also going to be some surprises of how to take your practice to the next level and really walking you through what that's going to look like for your practice. So very individualized, but also hopefully some growth there. I hope to see you there, Amy, or come. Yay.
Okay. And the last question I have here is from Vicky. When you first started tracking numbers, where do you begin?
Oh, Vicky, that's a great question. Oh, where to begin? So I began in two places because I didn't understand a lot, and so until I got some help. So I started tracking the clients I started to see. So how many clients was I seeing? Because I didn't even know how many patients I was seeing in a week. And then I started to track, okay, where is stuff going? So if I'm seeing patients, where's how much are they paying? Are they paying? I didn't even remember that there was credit card fees and all of those types of things. So looking at what I was spending money on and what was actually coming in. So that actually helped me to see the ins and outs. And then there's a whole bunch of others. So I would say start with the clients and then maybe the money if that's important, which I think it is. I think we all need to be talking that. But I will caution you on that when you are looking at the money, before you even start that, I would really look at your personal and your company's expenses. That will give you a key to really look at where does the money actually go, and before you look at how it's coming in, because you might end up in the red. So that's where I would say before you even start, let's see where you have begun. Any other questions, Kathy?
That was the last question. Mandy's just asking here after she follows the link, what does she need to do to sign up? Mandy, Adrien will get you a special coupon code to sign up for that for $0 for the prize that you won.
Yes.
I'll get that off to you.
Yes. And so if you guys are interested in joining the Boss Club, I would be flattered and honored and just give you lots of big hugs because I love you so much. So just head over to fearlesspractitioners.com/go. If you need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out. I really want to be that resource for you guys. I want to support you. Can't wait to see where you end up and where you go. So don't hesitate to reach out. Email me, shoot me up on any of the social medias, but I really appreciate you spending your evening with me. You make me so happy. So thank you so much for everything. Have a fabulous night. Make great decisions. And I hope to see you on social media and on the podcast.